Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing? Give me 1 second. Just dropping this link out here. Hashtag first call. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna dive into it. If we got some people that pull up, uh, trying to get everyone in here. All right, perfect. We got a few people in here. What's up, Ed? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sorry about the delay on getting started. Just wanted to make sure that I sent out the links. Still trying to get used to getting the YouTube live up and running, getting some people tapped into here. So I'm super excited. If you're in here this morning and you are joining us, we will be wrapping up our fourth book together, right? Extreme Ownership. So if you've been tapping in with us, you've been reading that book, congratulations, you've made it through. Another book completed, another book done. And hopefully this book has been just as rewarding for you as it has been for me. It's been an excellent, excellent, excellent read. Okay, I see y'all this morning. What's up, Khadijah? Good morning. I was looking for the comment section. Good morning, Jesse. How you doing, bro? Good morning, Heat Pumps. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How's everyone doing? Good to see y'all this morning. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Super glad that y'all were able to tap in. Again, I apologize about the delay. Getting used to still the whole Instagram or Face or YouTube live, but glad that you guys were here to hop in. Let me dive right into it. Right, final chapter of Extreme Ownership. This book has been excellent when it comes down to leadership principles, when it comes down to some of the things that we need to be effective leaders, right? We've learned in part one of this book, it starts with winning the war within. Because we all know the battle starts internally first. If we can't handle ourselves first, if we can't handle the things that we're going to deal with internally, then being able to transition and help and lead others is almost impossible, right? If we cannot tap in with ourselves first, if we can't correct some of the things internally first. So in the chapter one, we first learn about the entire principle of this book, which is extreme ownership, taking complete ownership of anything that goes wrong, even if it wasn't your fault, even if you weren't the main source to blame. But a good leader always takes full responsibility for everything. And then we learn that there's no bad teams, there's only bad leaders, right? Like as a leader, your job is to get the team to work into harmony with you and the things that you want to accomplish, or the mission and the objective. And if you can't get your team all on the same page, guess who it falls on? It falls on you as the leader to make the right steps and to implement the right things. So this way your now team is moving in a cohesive unit. But then after we learn that there's no bad teams, only bad leaders, we understand the power that there is in belief. Getting your team to buy in, you buying in, understanding whatever the goal and mission that it is that you hope to achieve. You gotta believe in it. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. You have to really tap into the why, right? We talk about all that all the time, the why, because that's what builds the belief, and the belief is what's going to keep us going. The belief is what's going to allow people, when they don't understand why they're doing the things that they're doing, to keep showing up and to keep moving forward and to keep getting better. But once you really start believing in the mission and really start understanding, okay, like I can do this, I can be an options trader, I can be a full-time entrepreneur, I can change the trajectory of my family, whatever it is that you're working on that you need to build your belief system in, you have to also then be able to check your ego, right? As leaders, we're going to be in positions of power. We're going to be in positions of success. We're going to have elevating levels to the things that we're doing. And as a result, the ability to have an inflated mind and have an inflated ego is always going to be there, right? But we have to always remember that ego clouds and disrupts everything. We learned about that in this book. And we learned that everyone has an ego. I have an ego, you have an ego, everyone has an ego, because everybody wants to be successful, right? It drives the most successful people. Truthfully, your ego is what keeps you in the game. But we have to make sure we get to to a point that it doesn't cloud our judgment, because that's when ego really becomes destructive. And that's what really culminated part one of the book. That's really what helps us understand that the war starts within the belief system, the checking the ego, us being effective leaders, us making sure that we are building the belief system, making sure that we're taking extreme ownership, extreme responsibility for everything. But then when we dive into part two of the book, that's where we got into the laws of combat. And that's where now we learn about what are the specific things that we need to battle and face, and what are the things as leaders that we need to incorporate, so this way we are improving our leadership skills, we're becoming more effective leaders, we're getting our teams to buy in and believe even more. The first thing we talked about was cover and move, which was the principle, which is the most fundamental tactic that Joko kind of explained to us. And that all cover and move means is teamwork. I watch your back, you watch mine. All elements, all teams working within the greater team are crucial for the overall objective and goal. We all must work together to accomplish the mission, supporting each other, and the team must understand who depends on them and why they are important, right? Because we all can't cover everything. We all can't do everything. So we have to understand how to be able to still get our mission done, how to simply move, but also still be able to get covered, and how we can cover each other and cover other individuals as they're pursuing their goals. But then once we understand the principle of covering and moving, then we also have to understand that we need to simplify things. A lot of us, we have these big grandiose plans, we have these visions, we have these dreams, but simply articulating them, simply writing them out, drawing them out, breaking them down into bite-sized nuggets isn't as easy for some of us as it is for other individuals. So how do we take our mission and how do we make it focused? How do we make it central? And that really comes from simplifying not only your communication, but it comes down to simplifying the overall objective and the overall goal. And then once you're able to simplify the plan and you're really able to draw it out, then you start prioritizing and executing. Start pointing your finger to what you need to focus on first, looking at your task list and defining what is more important right now. What do you have the ability to put off? What can you delegate? What do you have to take control over, right? But we have to not let us get so focused on one thing or get caught up in the weeds on details that we end up getting nothing done. I know I'm not the only person where I feel like I'm the only person where I get caught up on the details and I don't get certain things done. How do we get past that? Is by prioritizing and executing, but then also practicing decentralized command. That's where we are building effective teams, building effective environments. So now we have the ability to delegate, communicate, give orders, and we don't always have to be the person in command and in charge. Other individuals on the team feel like they are effective leaders as well, because they are now making they're making important decisions, and they're in the decision making process. And that's a decentralized command, really getting other people to buy in, not only on belief, but buying in because they are now implementing systems. They are now giving out orders. They are now giving instructions that can still be useful to the overall team. So once we finish part one, the war within, and then we finish the laws of combat in part two, the things that we need to implement as effective leaders, then we came to part three, which is sustaining victory. What are the things that we need to do as leaders to continuously win over and over and over again? First thing we got to do is plan. We learned about that in chapter 9. Planning. What's the mission? And planning begins with the analysis, really making sure that we have an overall purpose to what we're doing. We're having intentional intent, right? And we're making sure that everything that we can control, we're controlling, we're planning for. So this way, everyone is on the same team, on the same page, and the best teams take advantage of the planning process and the analysis that comes pre-mission and post-mission. But then also when you're starting that planning process, you also now understand how to lead up and down the chain of command, because you're planning everything out. You're going to say, okay, it's kind of like decentralized command, but it's a little bit different. Decentralized command is giving the order that allows other people to feel confident that they can make their own decisions and they have a contributing factor in the plan, because they are also making giving orders as well, or their plan is also being implemented into the overall mission. While leading up and down the chain of command is you making sure that each person inside of your organization, each person that you're involved with, each person that's on your team understands the role that they play, and they have strategic initiatives, and that they are bosses in their own self, right? And you got to lead the bosses by doing better yourself. So you're leading by example. So it doesn't matter if you're dealing with the CEO of a company or you're dealing with the lowest person on the rank on the totem pole. Every person has an integral role to play, and each position requires a different form of leadership. Last chapter, we learned about the importance of decisiveness and uncertainty. We talked about that on Wednesday, how we have to be decisive as leaders, especially in positions where it's high pressure situations, especially when there's uncertainty and we don't have all the answers, or we don't know all the variables and we can't control everything. That's where we as leaders have to be confident in our research, confident in our information, confident in our work, and be decisive despite the things that we can't plan for. So this way we have the best way to move forward and really make the best decisions. Now, finally, we came to this chapter 12, and yes, I appreciate you, Khadijah. Of course, like that, click that like button, y'all. I really would appreciate it. Need that like right there, so I appreciate y'all. That brings us to chapter 12 today. Kind of summarize the entire book real quickly for y'all. And chapter 12 is discipline equals freedom, the dichotomy of leadership. So what Joko does is he starts off in this chapter and starts talking about the mission that they're on. He's on a mission to gather evidence and basically work out a system for how they gather intelligence. What they do in terms of gathering intelligence is they would bust into rooms. We've heard that in literally every chapter, right? They would plan it out, bust into these rooms, and then from there kind of do a clean sweep, kill a few people or hold some hostage, like make sure they check out the room, make sure everything is good, you know what I'm saying? And then go to the next floor, the next room. Well, that whole process that they used to do when they used to try to gather the intelligence, Joko realized it was just like super ineffective and it took really long. It was problematic and it was not efficient, right? So, and then also a lot of times people didn't know like all the information that was being collected, information was falling through the cracks, just wasn't an efficient system. So what did Joko implement? He implemented a new system that allowed them to go into these rooms, collect the information, know who collected it, when it was collected, and then also being able to clear the room quickly and efficiently. He took a process that used to take 40 minutes and was able to implement a system that was more effective, that would allowed them to get better results post operation, but also during the operation. Instead of it taking them 40 minutes, it now took them 20 minutes to get done, right? And we saw the kind of the benefits and the effects of this process, played out on the battlefield. But the biggest thing, right, that Joko wanted to explain is that the reason why this process worked, and it literally took 25 minutes off the time in them to clear a house, was because of the ability to practice the discipline to stay in formation, practice the discipline to follow the rules, to not go off and do your own thing, to keep everything in line and focused on this mission and kind of the guidelines that he implemented. And because of that, they now have more, like, not just freedom, but they have more flexibility in their plan, if that makes sense. Because when you're able to follow a plan with a certain like regiment and a certain execution level, right? Like, so you have a plan that you want to follow, and the word that I'm looking for is like you're following it not exactly to the T, but you're following the boundaries, the parameters around the plan. What that does is when you stay consistent with that, the discipline is what equals the freedom. Because once you're able to understand, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. These are the guidelines that I need to stay within. It's like your trading rules as a trader. You give yourself certain rules that you stick within, certain parameters. But what does that do for your overall trading plan and trading strategy? It opens up things for you because you don't always have to follow things to the T. You now know how to adjust. You now know certain times when the charts are telling you this, and it allows you to say, okay, as long as I still keep my stop loss, but now I'm able to maybe allow this runner to go for a little bit more, or maybe I'm now able to adjust and sell more contracts or buy more contracts here in this position. That's what the discipline equals freedom means in kind of like the real life time. And if I break it down to you like this, right? Discipline for us starts every day when the alarm clock goes. That's what Joko's talking about. He says, have 3 alarm sets. I don't know if that's 100% necessary, but have 3 alarms set. And he's like, this is the first test of the day. It sets the tone for the entire rest of the day. If you have the discipline to get out of the bed, you win. You guys heard me talk about that before, but now you're hearing Joko talk about it. He said, if you're mentally weak for that moment, then you're letting the weakness keep you in the bed and then you fail. But if you want extra time in your day, if you're looking at your day and you're like, I don't have enough time to get everything done, I'm always overwhelmed, I'm always stressed. If you want to make that extra time, then you know what you do? You set that alarm and you get up early. The more discipline you have, the more freedom you have to be able now to practice the decentralized command. The more time you now have to actually plan out your day, the more time you have to actually practice some of these principles that we've talked about in this book, like covering and move, right? The overall principle here for us as leaders is that we walk a very fine line, right? Just as discipline and freedom are opposing forces, they must be balanced. And leadership requires finding the equilibrium in the dichotomy, so that many seemingly contradictory qualities become one extreme and another. I hope this is making sense, right? Because as a leader, think about the different dichotomy, right? Because you're thinking discipline, freedom, those are 2 different things. Because if you're following everything to the T, if you're structured and disciplined and you're really locked in, how is that freedom? Like, you're probably wondering, how's that freedom, right? But think of it this way. As a leader, you must do what? You got to follow. So the best leaders, sometimes in certain situations, it's going to require someone else to take the initiative, and they might be in a better situation for them to lead the mission than you. So because of that, a leader is going to welcome this. You see the freedom right there? Think about this. A leader must be aggressive, but not overbearing. Again, the 2 opposite forces working with each other, but in harmony. A leader must be calm, but not robotic. So it's necessary and normal to show emotion based on the things that you're going through. So it's okay when you have a losing trade that you scream for a second, or you let it out, you let that frustration go. It's okay. We're not robots here. We have emotions. It's okay to express it. A leader, we must be brave, but not foolhardy, right? Like, these are all things. Humble, but not passive, right? Strong, but have endurance. Confident, but not cocky. Attentive to details, but not obsessed with them. That is the dichotomy. That's that harmony that's working in a contradictory state right there. That we as leaders have to walk that fine line between the things that we know are necessary that we have to do, but then also the things that can also lead us down a negative path. Just like how all us as leaders and successful individuals, we all know that we need to have an ego. The ego is going to be the thing that pushes us forward and allows us to be more successful, because people who have ego want to keep winning. They want to keep achieving more. They want to keep doing more. But we can't allow that ego to get out of control. You see that? It's the same type of dichotomy here that we have in all of our day-to-day beliefs as leaders, that we have to be able to balance and really hone, because that's where we are able to get to that next level, right? We can be quiet, but not silent, right? We got to speak up when we're facing certain things. And then we as leaders, we got to be close to the troops, right? Never look at one member of the team as more important than the other. A leader understands his entire team, everybody who's involved, and must never let their subordinates forget that they are in charge. Never lose control of the situation. Never lose control of your environment. And again, when I'm talking about a team here, I'm talking about your family, I'm talking about your workers, I'm talking about your coworkers, I'm talking about your employees, but I'm also talking about the enemy, which is the marketplace. That's the stock market. Never lose control, right? Never look at one stock so much that you lose sight of the thousands of other companies that are out there. Never be so focused on one vision, one game plan, one thing that you close yourself off to other possibilities and other revenue streams that are there for you, right? You as a leader, you're there to take control and to take charge of your situation. You should never let the environment define how you attack it. You should never let the environment become your enemy. You go into the environment and decide how are you going to control this environment. The stock market should never control you. Sports betting should never control you. Your boss should never control you, right? Even if you hate the job, how can you allow that environment to now make you accelerate and exceed rather than deteriorate you and bring you down? I hope this is making sense. A leader must develop trust and confidence from their team that they will make the right decisions when it matters most. And then a leader must always be there and present, right? It's okay if you're not there physically in person, but you're always there present. And what I mean by that is your spirit is going to be there. Your principles are going to be there. Your tactics are going to be there. You've heard in this entire book, there were times where Joko wasn't on the battlefield, but guess what? His systems were still with his team. So therefore, he was always present, even though his physical body wasn't. And these are things, my friends, that we as leaders, we have to implement, we have to practice, and we have to think consciously through in our day to day. And that is how we're going to start earning the freedom. Because once you're disciplined in these actions, once you're disciplined in these behaviors, once you're checking your ego, once you are leading up and down the chain of command, once you are planning out the mission, once you're prioritizing and executing, once you're making things simple, guess what you're doing now? You are now practicing discipline in those areas. And guess what that's going to allow you to have? Ultimate freedom, ultimate flexibility, ultimate control. And it's such a crazy concept to think about and think about in your life. The times that you were the most disciplined were probably the times that you were the most free. The times where your mind was not able to be overwhelmed with so many decisions. You knew exactly what you had to do that day. Why? Because it was the same thing you did maybe every other day, or maybe the same thing you did every single day, right? Even this space, right? The discipline for you to show up to this space every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5:30, guess what that does? It gives you the freedom to know, all right, I'm going to join a space 3 times a week that's going to make me work on my personal development, that's going to pour into me and allow me to get better, that's going to give me tips and principles and tools that's going to allow me to be more effective at my job, or more effective at trading, or just be a better person overall. So the discipline for you to show up every day here, or every 3 days a week here, gives you what? The freedom to be able to practice these things. It gives you the freedom to be able to know, you know what? I know what I'm getting from this session. I know what I can do with this information. I know what I'm going to be learning. I know how it's going to affect me. And that, my friends, is a level of freedom. And you can now be able to move and work in harmony. So now you're able to reach your goals. And I hope this was able to benefit somebody this morning. I hope this book was able to get somebody going and moving in the right direction, right? Because I see you here, Vanessa. What's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I see you, Heat Pumps, right? And I didn't want to go too long this morning, but I wanted to primarily just share with each and every one of you, the discipline is the one thing that if you learn, if you have to get any skill set, and you hear us talk about it a lot, but if you really own this, if you really say, in the month of December, I'm going to decide to be as disciplined as possible because I know in January, I want to be free. I want to be free to make the decisions when I want and how I want. I want to be free to be a better person. I want to be free to improve. I want to be free in my thinking, and I don't want to be shackled by negative thoughts. I don't want to be shackled by fear. I don't want to be crippled by pain and grief. I want to be free. And if that is something that you want to have, it's not going to come from by making more money. It's not going to come from getting that new job. It's not going to come from hitting that $10,000 trade. It's going to come from the disciplined principles and applying it to your life every single day. So what I need you to do today is find something that you can be disciplined in. Find something that you can put structure in. Find something that you can put parameters around, and start working and living and moving within those guidelines. And I promise you, other people are going to start moving in those guidelines with you, because they're going to understand the gym is no longer negotiable for you. They're going to understand that saving money and working out multiple revenue streams is no longer just something you talk about. You understand that they're going to understand that the things that you're working on is a behavior for you that you always do. The same way you wake up at 9:30 to trade, or I should say wake up, you're clocked in at 9:30 to trade, they're going to look at it no different, and your mind is going to look at no different. So now when you're coming to that marketplace, you're going to be there to really keep moving forward and putting in that work, like Jesse said, and then there you're going to be able to tap in. Great question, Moyo. Discipline's hard, constant fighting with the mind. Any tips? Okay, this is the thing. That's a great question. Where I practice discipline first is in areas that I can control and areas that are more routine. So for you, your 9 to 5, that's your job. If you have to show up to that every single day, you know that you have to do that. That variable inside of your job is there, right? You know you're going to your job every day. What can you implement in that 9 to 5 so you can practice discipline? So when I used to work at my office as a financial consultant, this is what my schedule used to look like. I knew I had to wake up to go to the office. This was before remote work, right? So I'd wake up, set my alarm, like Joko said, first thing you want to do, win that battle with your alarm, first and foremost. Then I would go, and then I would go to the gym. I knew I had to leave the house anyway, so I might as well get my gym session in there. Again, put a system in place. Then from there, I would go to the office, and then I would start studying for my CFA. So I would go for the gym from like 5:30 to 7. Then I'll start studying for my CFA from like 7 to 9. Guess what I also used to do in that structure of my studying? I used to put discipline around that. I used to make my tea first. I used to then lay out my books and write out what was it that I need to focus on that day for my study plan. And then I would focus 30 minutes on reading, then the next 30 minutes on practice questions. That's how you're building discipline. You're putting systems into something that's already a system. You understand? I knew I had to show up to the 9 to 5 anyway. I knew I had to study for my CFA anyway. So how can I put things in place? So for me, it becomes just routine and it becomes structured. So I knew I had to leave the house, so I might as well get the gym out the way early. I knew I had to go to the office anyway, so I might as well get there before everybody else and study, so this way I'm not distracted. And then it also makes you look good because you're there way before everybody else as well. So it's a win-win situation. Then 9 o'clock hits. Now it's time for you to actually dive into the work. First thing I used to do after I used to finish studying was read the Wall Street Journal. Why? Because that's my way of keeping up with what's going on in current events and current news. Then from there, it's okay, now I dive into the work. First thing I do, check emails, get the emails out the way. And then I would put in my calendar 3-4 different times during the day that I would check my email. 9:30, right before lunch, then maybe right before I clock out, right? Again, how many of y'all just allow emails to distract you? Think about that. How many times do you guys have Microsoft Outlook and Teams pinging, and then you can't even focus on the work that you got to get done? It's just something simple as that that can help you get the freedom to your day back. Get the freedom. You see, the discipline to only check your email 3 times a day allows you to have the freedom to get your work done, allows you to have the freedom not to have anybody controlling your time and just answer or feeling entitled to answer or you to answer them as soon as they send you a message. And it also gives you the freedom to actually focus on what you need to focus on, and then you are now controlling and dictating when you respond. So these are the things that I do to put those systems in place. Now, working remotely is a little bit harder for me personally, because your home is a different environment from outside of work. It's a little bit different, but you can still do the same exact things, do the same type of strategies and principles inside of your trading plan or inside of your sports betting or whatever it is that you're working on. Because yes, it is a battle of the mind, but things that you're controlling and things that are system and routine, figure out ways that you can plug things into it. Even this, I know I have to eat. You know you have to eat. So what's my system? I cook twice a week. Sundays, Wednesdays. I cook twice a week. I only grocery shop for the stuff that I'm eating that week. I plan out 2 meals and I call it a day. Put systems into your routine, and guess what that does? When I'm in the grocery store, you know what? I'm free. Why am I free? Because I planned out my meals beforehand, and when I'm in there, I know exactly what I'm shopping for. So I don't have to stand there for 2 hours going down every aisle and contemplating, what do I need this or do I need that? I have the freedom to get in there in 10, 15 minutes, get what I need to get, go to every exact spot for what I need for that ingredients for that meal that I'm preparing for that week, and I'm out the door. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Having everything planned out and organized it makes it easier. Just like what he said in the book, plan, that's what we got to do. Everything starts with the plan. 90 days of execution, what's one of the things I said? Journal either the night before or plan out your day. Why? Because that's going to allow you to have reflection, and that's also going to allow you to at least think forward for the next day. And guys, don't make this planning process hard. You can use your notes. You can use the reminder app. You can use task list apps. I personally use Asana. It's a project management tool that I use. You can just put it on your screensaver on your phone, right? Like, there's so many things that you can do. Look at this. One thing, I'm literally pulling on my phone right now. Look at this. I put this on my phone. Discipline equals freedom. These are things that I'm focused on over the next few months, because this is what's going to give me freedom. Rehab my shoulder, because I'm tired of dealing with this shoulder injury. So Noble, really sit down and focus and rehab that shoulder. Increase your vertical. So now when I go to the gym, I know what I'm working on. I'm working on my legs and my shoulder, right? Consistently build my bankroll. What does that mean? If I have the consistency and the discipline to every day just try to win 5%, 10%, guess what I'm going to have? An increased bankroll. Post today. That's just something I need discipline on. Posting every single day of content. Create a product this week. I want to create a product every single week. And guess what? When I have the discipline to create a product every week, do you think I'm going to have problems now being able to sell stuff in the marketplace or finding lead squeeze funnels or whatever I need to work on next? No, because the discipline is what is going to equal freedom. And this is just in my notes app, man. And then you can literally do things that makes it nice for you, that makes it, sexy and cute, and make it nice. Make it something that you look forward to looking at. I'm trying to find one more thing for you guys here, and then I'm gonna let you guys go, right? And I'm gonna make this PSA here. Hopefully she's still on. But Khadijah's having a vision board party on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not 100%. This December the 3rd, so it's tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow. And if you aren't registered for that, I highly encourage you guys to get registered for that vision board party. And the reason why I'm telling you to get registered for that vision board party is because a vision board is one of the best things that you can do to give yourself some parameters to start putting some of your visions like on your mind. So this way you can now actually see these goals come to fruition. I'm trying to, you can't really see it as good, but this is a vision board that I keep on my lock screen, right? That's my family right there. It says legacy, right? Right here. 18 hours dominate. I have a car there. That's my dream car, a Lamborghini. I've got post, what if, motivate, learn. And I made this in Canva, inspire, me versus me, right? I'm focused on getting better at golf, so I put that right there. I want to increase my vertical and dunk on somebody before I finish playing basketball, so I put that right there. Conquer, because I've been working on my lead funnels. I've been looking on learning and checking lists. Like, guys, this is a simple vision board. This is a simple vision board. So when I have this on my screensaver every single day, guess what guess what that's allowing my discipline to do? Improve, get better. Y'all gotta stop. Like, your wife, your wife. She don't need to be your screensaver, right? Like, you know what you look like. You don't need to be your screensaver. Okay? What you need to be having on your screensaver is your goals. 18 hours a day, dominate, post, you versus you. Like, what if I want to go to, my mom, one of her goals is to go to Paris for the 2024 Olympics. So what if I can buy my mom an all expense trip to the Paris to see the Olympics in 2 years? That's my goal. So I look at it every single day. What if I can motivate and speak in front of tons of crowds? That's my goal. So I look at it every single day. That's what you got to do, right? KD, they're asking for the link. They asking for the link, KD. I know it's in her bio. I know it's in her bio. I know it's in her bio for sure. But yeah, it's called Asana. That's one thing that I use is Asana to project manage and keep track of everything that I have going on. But I'm just really sharing this because this is what discipline equals freedom means, right? You guys got to keep this stuff here and just so much in front of you. You have to do it. You have to do it. Because I promise you, when you get the systems in place and you see the goals constantly, you're just going to be constantly refining and tweaking the goals. And then you'll have... Your wife is your screensaver, boy. Yo, I know. That's what I'm saying. You see her every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sleep next to her. Why do you got to look at it every day? I get it. I get it. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what's worked for me, right? And for me, you have two lock screens. You have the one outside and you have the one inside. Look at this. This is what my lock screen is right here. It's the African dude from that he gets paid $750,000 per TikTok. I put that as my screensaver for the last 2 weeks. Why? Because I need to post more on YouTube, on TikTok. How do you think I'm gonna get the discipline to post more on TikTok? By looking at this dude who makes $750,000 per post on TikTok. So what's my excuse, Noble? Post, get it done. So whatever you gotta do to inspire yourself to be able to build that discipline to get those tactics in there, do it. And I promise you, you will realize that it's going to equal freedom for you. But you have to everything ties back to the first principle of this book, which is extreme ownership. Take responsibility for any and everything. Thank you, Heat Pumps, for sharing that. And I got to get used to y'all's YouTube names because I don't exactly know who is who, but I'll get used to it and really be able to connect the dots. But that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to share with you. I know I kind of went on like a little rant at the end and answered that question, but I love the questions that we are asking. I want to be able to share. I like this. I like the way that the YouTube Live kind of allows me to drop the comments on there and things like that. So I want to be able to start opening up more Q&As. And December, I'm doing something special for the month of December. I'm collaborating with different people to help lead First Call for the month of December. So if you have a story, if you have a testimony, if you have something you want to teach, this is your month to be able to do it. If you want to practice speaking or you want to practice being a leader and you're not used to big stages, and guys, there's 13 people in here. First Call doesn't get really more than 20 people in it, maybe 30 people depending on the day, right? This is your time. This is your time to shine. So if you're interested in getting into that, right, I want you to be able to really December is your month to really become a leader. This is your time for you to really be able to own it. And I'm going to have different speakers coming up this month. So this way you guys can get different perspectives and different individuals. And also for you to practice your leadership if that's what you want to do, or even ask questions. First time joining in, welcome, welcome, Ebony. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we just finished our 4th book of the year with each other. And the book we just finished was Extreme Ownership by Joko Willink and Leif Babin. It was an excellent book about leadership. And then in the beginning of the year, I'm going to tell y'all the first book that we're reading for the beginning of the year, right? I'm going to let y'all know. It's going to be The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. We are starting off next year learning how to really make money and how to keep money. So I'm telling y'all, letting y'all know exactly the book that we're starting in the new year. It's going to be The Psychology of Money. But so if you want to get it on your wish list now, if you want to tell your wife, your kids, buy you it for Christmas, do it. Because next year we focusing on making money in here. And we're focused on being better people too, but we're going to be focused on making money, and we're going to continue to improve. If you need the link to the vision board party, it's in Khadijah's bio. I believe her Instagram. Let me just drop her Instagram link inside here real quick before I let y'all go. And I appreciate you guys for tapping in. I appreciate your consistency, always showing up, man. I see you, Jesse. I see you, Big Beard. I see you, Moyo. You know, everything that you guys are doing. This is Khadijah's right here. Just copy and paste that. And then here's the Eventbrite link. Hopefully you guys can see that as well. So that's her Instagram right there. Feel free to grab that. And then that's the Eventbrite as well. I think that you can still get in that room. Khadijah is doing an excellent thing with this vision board party. And I'm glad the book I'm glad you enjoyed the book, Willie. I appreciate you tapping in on it. It was a book that was a little different. I saw some people drop this month. When this book was, a lot of people who were tapped in the other months and reading the other books, they didn't tap in with this book, and that's fine, right? Some people weren't big into the military stuff and stuff like that. I get it, but for me, I'm focused on being a better leader, and I'm focused on leading other people, but I'm focused on leading me first. So until you lead you first, don't expect your children to buy in. Don't expect your husband or wife to buy in. Don't expect your boss to see your potential. Don't expect your coworkers to see what you're really capable of. Don't expect other people to really see your potential until you lead you. So go out today, guys. Go out this month of December. Lead you to the best of your ability. And let's continue to get better. And I will see you guys on Monday for pre-market prep. I'm not pre-market prep. I won't be on pre-market prep today for Mindset Friday. I do have a funeral to attend to today, so I won't be for Mindset Friday today, but I will see you guys on Monday on Twitter Spaces, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get it. Thank you guys. Love y'all. Extreme ownership today, forever, and let's continue to get better. Dictate your fate today.